I'm very excited to be heading over to Colorado Springs Forward as their new executive director. I'm going to leave 6 months early. I'm term limited and would be done in January, but I'm going to leave 6 months early to go over and start heading that organization so that we can really get underway with a whole number of issues that are coming up next April for the city of Colorado Springs, and a number of policy issues that we'll be working with the state legislature and throughout the region. Well, you know, when you have the date on the calendar that you're going to be out of work, you know when that is. It's really exciting to have people come to you even a year ahead of time and say, hey, we're interested in you coming on board. So I was approached by Colorado Springs Forward. I was very honored to begin discussions with them. I was very intrigued by those discussions, and I think it's a really good fit. And when I asked them, could they wait until January, the answer was no. And it is because there are so many things that are coming that are potentially ballot initiatives for the city of Colorado Springs next April. Of course, we have city council elections next April. We have the legislative session that begins next January, and that seems like it's a long way out, but there's so much work ahead of time. So the answer, as I said, was no, we can't wait until January. And so we discussed it, and I felt that it was very important that if I was to resign early, that I wait until after the primary election on June 28th, so that the people of District 2 are able to voice their opinion on who should be their next commissioner, and that would guide the vacancy committee. And so very, very important to leave that up to the people. And so we agreed to that date in July, and it's 6 months early, but it's also a very exciting and very active role. And so I'm excited to go. Bittersweet to leave the county. This has just been a love of mine for over 8 years and a family here. But I'm still going to be working with the county, which is so exciting to be working with Colorado Springs Forward. I'll be working with the county and city council and business leaders throughout the region. So I'm still going to be in the mix of things. Colorado Springs Forward was really started by a group of investors who decided that they wanted to get involved in local policy decisions and leadership decisions that really have an impact on business, on existing business, developing business, economic development, all of those things that we talk about so much, but they're out there doing. So the Board of Directors of Colorado Springs Forward are businessmen and women. They employ hundreds, if not thousands, of people throughout the Pikes Peak region. They are job producers, and they know exactly what impacts them from that business perspective, both from the public sector and the private sector, and they seek to influence those issues that have an impact on business. And so they came together and they formed this organization, and now as they're growing, they are in need of an executive director, and I'm just so honored to be chosen to lead that group. Boy, looking back over 8 years, what an extraordinary journey it's been. Something that's very passionate to me is business development. And of course, we're local government, so we don't do business, we don't create jobs, but we have a land development code and certain regulations that impact business. And so it's been a passion of mine to work very hard to make that as common sense and efficient and low impact on business as possible. The reason is because if you make it low impact on business and business is able to thrive, more people have jobs, and when people have jobs, they have independence. And then we don't have to worry so much about our Department of Human Services and our Department of Health and all of those support services that are necessary when people are not able to be independent. It all fits together. So it's been a passion of mine to do a lot of revamping of the Land Development Code, and we've done that through the Barriers to Business group that I started with the Chamber of Commerce several years ago. So that's been exciting to do. We have fundamentally reorganized El Paso County government to the better, and we have changed our budgeting system. We've implemented an operational savings plan, and all of the practices that we've put into place with our budget has actually resulted in increasing our bond rating with Standard & Poor's and Moody's twice. So a local government, one time even right outside of an economic recession, having its bond rating increased is extraordinary, and I'm excited about that. We walked through two well, with the floods, 3 major disasters. We've actually had 4 presidential disasters declared in my time on this board. So we've done our statutory responsibilities. We've held on to people and cried with them and cleaned up with them and worked with them to try to help them get back up on their feet. And that's just what we do as part of a community. And that's been an extraordinary privilege to be a part of that. So many different things that I can think of. If I've learned anything, and this is true of this role, and this is true of being a mom and just getting older in life, it's to listen first and speak second. So just for whomever comes in here, there's so much to learn. I'm still learning after all these years. You'll never stop learning in this role because there are so many different things that come at us. Just take some time to take it in and learn and understand and listen to the people. Go out and meet with the constituents. When a constituent calls and they need you out there, I may not be the person who goes out and fixes their drainage problem in front of their house, but I make sure that our crews are there, following up on that, make sure that constituent's questions are answered, that to the extent that we're able to help on whatever the issue is, that we do. And if we can't, that we try to connect them with someone that can, some entity that can. I want future commissioners to recognize the partnerships that we've built throughout this community with the business sector, with the nonprofit, with the faith-based. We have so many partnerships. We could not respond in our fire situations as we've had if we hadn't had those relationships, to be able to pick up the phones and make a call to get someone medication that was burned up in the fire, for example, to pick up the phone and call regional building and make changes to that code, to suspend code so that people could rebuild and get back up on their feet, all kinds of different things. So partnerships, and that takes listening, it takes constant interaction, meeting with people, just having lunch, having a cup of coffee, getting to know them. What is their role in this community? How could it or does it tie into what we do in the county? And so I just hope that the new commissioner will take time to do that. Get to know staff, care about staff, people to people, because we're working together in this, and make sure that they have relationships internally as well.
So a lot of the job doesn't happen in this building.
Oh my gosh, probably the majority of the job doesn't happen in this building. We serve on different boards and committees. We're liaison to different boards and committees all around the community, including outside of the county. And so there's so much more than in this building. And I would just encourage the new commissioner to recognize that, to ask the commissioners who have been here for so many years, what do they think that they should do first? And just listen and get out there in the community, because networking is huge. My parting message would be, thank you. They're the ones who put me here, and it's just been such an extraordinary privilege. But I'm not leaving. I've lived in Colorado Springs for 32 years. This is my home, and I'm excited to be able to continue to work regionally with everyone. But it's just a heartfelt thank you. What a privilege this is to have been in this role. And fundamentally, the bottom line is to be able to come into an organization and hopefully leave it just a little bit better than it was before you were here. And I think from a financial standpoint, from a budget standpoint, we've done that. Organizationally, we've become more efficient. I think we've become much more involved in the community. And that doesn't mean big government doing things for people. It means being a support, being here to support the business community, not the other way around. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that. So my message is thank you. And I look forward to continuing work just from a different angle.